Who rules the court of the seven-headed serpent? Which figures do we have law on, and what real-world demons ruled hell and represented each of the seven deadly sins, so could have done so during the Trench Crusade perhaps? Welcome back to the trenches, and let's begin. The court of the seven-headed serpent's efforts in the Trench Crusade conflict are directed by the Infernal Council. There sits seven of the greatest, most wicked and cunning of archdevils, each representing one of the seven mortal sins made manifest. They are the rulers of the court of the seven-headed serpent, which oversees hell's war against creation on earth. The distrust and backstabbing between these factions means whoever sits on the seats can often change, with one exception being Mammon. He's said to be the only one who has held the position of the serpent head of greed almost without break for the duration of the entire Great War. Another notable member too is Beelzebub. He's the most powerful devil of gluttony by far, but the Lord of the Flies scorns his rightful place at the court, waging his war against creation through his black grail instead. This leaves his seat open, so the less than fallen angels can struggle for the honour of sitting on the hungry throne. So let's look at what we can about Mammon, and then go through the real history of other demons said to have taken up the other positions. Each council head must be a sin. They are wrath, envy, pride, gluttony, greed, sloth and lust. First, Mammon. He has a band of warriors allied to him, the Knights of Avarice. After the Knights of Avarice have claimed victory in combat, they scour the battlefield, or any settlement they've conquered like a swarm of locusts. Anything and everything of value is taken, metals from brass to bronze, silver to gold, art objects, precious stones, livestock, trade goods, rare tombs and scrolls, all are meticulously catalogued and carried away by slaves and demonic beasts of burden, or great armoured cars that take the stolen loot to the underground treasure chambers, which act as the temples of Mammon. Even the dead are stripped of their flesh, with the detached skill of seasoned butchers, ready to be sold at market. Internal organs taken from fallen victims are carefully preserved in alchemical liquids to be sold to the scientists of the infernal laboratories. For the heretics of the path of Mammon, hoarding riches is not mere acquisition of wealth, it is their religious compulsion. Ironically, they gain little pleasure from their vast wealth, as their greed makes them continuously desire ever greater riches. Thus, their warbands forever roam no man's land, looking for forgotten treasures or foes to dissect and turn into wealth, for the greed of Mammon will never be sated. The followers are often given appropriate weapons. The battle standard of Mammon are opulently decorated works of art, icons and banners done in mockery of the virtues of charity and temperance, always made of the most expensive materials. Each is a unique work of dark genius, often depicting saints performing vile sins or famous acts of greed. It has the power to make anyone kneel before the Prince of Greed. Another is the portable altar of Mammon. It creates illusions of immense wealth in any form it targets covert above all. Overcome by supernatural greed, those affected by the curse of Mammon are forced to swoop down, feebly trying to pick up the objects of their desire. And a double-handed hammer, it has the rune of Mammon on its head. Its strikes leave a permanent painful scar in the shape of Mammon's rune, which burns through even the thickest armour. Mammon loves marking the innocent with his rune, as it sows mistrust amongst his enemies. In real history, there are two classifications of demons for the seven deadly sins, and I am going to use the ones agreed in the Lantern of Light. Some have a lot about them, some little, so I've taken whatever source best fits the demon's particular favourite sin. Belphegor fits gluttony. One way it said he loves people is by suggesting amazing inventions that could make people rich. A German bishop and witch hunter believed he tempted people through laziness. According to the way of the witch hunter, he was classified under sloth. When he is called in several stories, he gives wealth and power to people. This then helps them sow disputes between people to lead them to do evil by providing what they need for their downfall. Next is a name Fortigay fans will know, Abaddon, or Abaddon, depending on how you like to say it, which means destruction or doom, and he's named in the Bible itself. In the Bible, it's a place of destruction, and also the name of an angel within the abyss. To quote directly from Revelations 9:1, Then the fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from heaven to earth, and it was given the key to the pit of the abyss. The star opened the pit of the abyss, and smoke rose out of it, like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by the smoke from the pit. And out of the smoke locusts descended on the earth, and they were given power like that of the scorpion of the earth. They were ruled by a king, the angel of the abyss. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek it is Apollyon. So you can see his role, and it's a possible name for those who ruled the thrones of the court of the seven-headed serpent. Next we have Asmodeus. He also is known by the title the Prince of Lechery. He's featured in many stories. In one, Tobit is hostile to Sarah, Raguel's daughter, and slays 7 successive husbands on their wedding nights, impeding the consummation of the marriage. When the young Tobias is about to marry her, Asmodeus proposes the same fate to him, but Tobias is enabled, through the counsels of his attendant angel, to render Asmodeus defeated by placing a fish's heart and liver on red-hot cinders. Tobias produces a smoky vapour that causes the demon to flee to Egypt, where his patron angel Raphael binds him. Yes, there are few to go, but sadly, that's pretty much all we have on the alternative demons. Wrath is given to Satan and pride to Lucifer, and they are the one and the same, and the devil is viewed as a fallen angel, whom pride has tried to usurp the position of the one and only creator. Generally, the devil's main task is that of tempting people to reject the way of life and redemption and to accept the way of death and destruction. The leader of the angels who have fallen from heaven because of pride, Satan has as his main adversary in Christian thought, legend and iconography, the Archangel Michael, leader of God's heavenly hosts. Now Beelzebub is associated with envy within the real world lore, which doesn't really match to tell you that within some circles, Beelzebub is another name for the devil. In the dictionary Infernal, it describes Beelzebub as a being capable of flying, known as the Lord of Flies or the Lord of Flies, which is a nice tie-in to the lore. In the Testament of Solomon, whose name is in the Trench Lore, there is perhaps a better tie-in, under the name Beelzebul, not Beelzebub. He appears as a prince of demons and says that he was formerly a leading heavenly angel who was associated with the star Hesperus. Beelzebul claims to cause destruction through tyrants, to cause demons to be worshipped among men, to excite priests to betraying their vows, to cause jealousies in cities and murders, and to bring about war. So let me know what you think to this lore we have here, and those possibilities being on the other thrones at different times. I was hoping there'd be more direct tie-ins to the Trench Lore, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. I'm really enjoying tying the Trench Lore into a little real-world history when it's appropriate, and learning along with you as we make videos on those subjects. So, do you want me to comment down below what you think about the lore? And if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, why not try this one?